So today I met with a student of mine, also a friend of mine, and he has recently expanded his business. And as he's expanded his business, that has created some challenges in his time. And he's in a critical place in life. He's got one son who's graduating from high school. He still has two more sons at home. And so he finds this tension that his business needs his attention and his family needs his attention. And so we began to talk about the fact that, there are times in your business, especially in this startup phase or in this expansion phase, where it seems like every little second of your time is being demanded by your business. And so you've got to be very intentional about what you choose to focus on. But I reminded him that a year from now, what's going to matter is that hour or two that he spent with his sons. And I said, sometimes I said it's never a good time when these family things come up. It's never convenient. There's always something pressing with your business. But the truth is, a year from now, no one will care that you spent that hour or those 2 hours in your business. But I said, your family will care that you spent that time with them. In fact, I told this story about a week ago, but I'm going to tell it again. I took some time and drove by my dad's graveside here a couple of weeks ago, and I just sat and kind of looked at his headstone and I thought back about his life. And my dad spent about 39 years roughly working for the same company. And when you look back at that time, uh, nobody at that company remembers who he is. In fact, a lot of the people he worked with aren't even alive anymore. And so his contribution to that company has been long forgotten. And really, what remains are the relationships and, more importantly, his influence on his family. So, my children talk about him. My son talks about him to his daughter. That's the lasting impact. That's the lasting legacy. And so, the time that he invested into my life and into the life of my children is really the thing that outlived him. It wasn't the time that he put into his career or his profession. It was the time that he put into his family. And that's what I was telling my friend today. I said, a year from now, what will matter is that you spent a little bit of time with your boys. So I said, here's what's going to happen in your business. And this is the point that I want to bring up to you today is what this does is it forces you to become more efficient in your time, to get much more intentional and much more hyper focused. You've got to look for those places where you are inefficient in your work time, where you are inefficient in your family time, where you are inefficient in your personal time, in your spiritual life, and you've got to make the adjustments to correct those inefficiencies. And so I was sharing with him, we're in a growth phase in our company right now. One of the things that I've had to do is tell my team, you need to fire me from everything operational. If you find me monkeying around in client accounts or you find me messing around in operational things, tell me to get lost because that creates inefficiency. And although in the moment that 20 minutes or 30 minutes doesn't seem like a big deal, when you compound those 20 and 30 minutes over a week's time, I lose a lot of efficiency doing that. And it takes me away from the thing that really moves the needle forward. Now, here's what's funny. For a year and a half, we've been trying to break through a revenue ceiling. And it was about 6 weeks ago that I told the team, hey, if you find me messing around in this stuff, you need to tell me to get lost. Well, guess what? We broke through that revenue ceiling this week. Why? Because I'm focused on the things I need to be focused on. I've got my attention where it needs to be, hyper focused. And even as we're starting to get into some growth things, I've already taken some preemptive steps in some places where I see that my focus was going to get diffused if I wasn't careful. And so I just want to encourage you in this. You need to take a look at what are your priorities? What are the things that are going to matter long term? Obviously, your faith, your family, your health. Those things will outlive your business. They'll outlive your career. They'll outlive any money you make. Those have to be the priorities in your life. You have to make them priorities. You have to be intentional about making time for those things. But at the same time, you've got to look at your business. What are the things that are going to make the greatest difference in your business? And you've got to be intentional in those things and look for those areas where you are inefficient and those places that you can improve upon so you can be more effective overall. Just a few thoughts for you today. Hope you find those helpful.